If you're here, you've probably tried to stop gambling before. Maybe through willpower, maybe with rules, guilt, or grit. But no matter how hard you tried, something kept pulling you back. Because the problem isn't that you're weak. It's about something much deeper. It's about a feeling, a need, an illusion that seemed so real. And this video will help you stop gambling, not by trying harder, not by resistance, but through inner clarity. So take a breath, get comfortable. You can even close your eyes and just listen. Let the words speak to a deeper part of you, helping you reprogram the way you think about gambling. And since you're hearing these words right now, you've already taken the first step, not by forcing anything, but by simply showing up. Because if you've tried to stop before through sheer willpower, it's like holding your breath underwater. It only works temporarily. Eventually, the tension returns, the thoughts creep in, and it feels like you're fighting a battle with something bigger than you. But what if that battle was never meant to be fought? And what if it isn't about willpower at all? What if real power comes not from resisting harder, but from letting go? Because gambling doesn't trap you with chains. It traps you with illusions, false promises, emotional hooks, fantasies of excitement, of success, of relief. And once those illusions begin to fade, you don't need to fight so hard. You simply stop believing them and let go. Because this deeper level of change doesn't come from force. It comes from allowing. Just noticing the way your breath moves in and out, the way your body settles. You don't have to make anything happen, but you may already begin to notice that your body knows what to do. Maybe your shoulders have dropped slightly. Maybe your eyes are beginning to soften. Maybe there's a small shift in the weight of your hands, or the sound of the room feels a little further away. There's nothing to fix, nothing to force, just the gentle unfolding of a state that's always been available to you. And if thoughts come, they can come and go like clouds in the sky passing through. Because another part of you is listening more deeply now. The part that doesn't need to figure anything out. The part that's been waiting to rest, to release, to remember who you really are. And as you breathe in again, you might feel that breath clearing a little more space around you, as if something is loosening, and something true is beginning to return. And as you continue to notice your breath, more relaxed, more open, you begin to notice how so much of your life becomes clear when you stop trying to control it. Because sometimes it's not the situation that keeps us stuck, it's the way we hold on to it. In parts of the world, hunters once used a clever trap to catch monkeys. They'd cut a hole in a hollowed-out log just big enough for the monkey's hand to reach inside, and they'd place a piece of fruit inside. The monkey would reach in, wrap its fingers around the fruit, and find that it couldn't pull its fist back out. The hole was big enough for an open hand, but not a clenched one, and the only thing keeping it trapped was the refusal to let go. Freedom was right there, but the monkey couldn't see it, because the fruit seemed too valuable to release. And maybe you've been holding on to something too. An illusion, a habit, a promise that was never really delivered. And what if freedom isn't found in fighting harder, but in simply letting go? And maybe now you're beginning to notice how tightly we hold on when we believe we're just one step away. Just one more bet, one more spin, just one more chance to make it all right again. But here's the thing. You're not chasing a win. You're chasing a loss. Trying to undo what's already been done. Trying to recover what's already gone. And the harder you chase, the deeper you sink. Not because you're failing, but because the game was never meant to be won. It was designed to keep you holding on to false hope. The game is rigged against you. Like the fruit inside the log, it feels like you're so close. Yet, it's holding on to hope that actually keeps you trapped. Here's another story from long ago. In ancient Egypt, a slave labored day after day, dragging stone after stone through the sand to build a palace he'd never get to enter. They told him, work harder and maybe one day you'll be rewarded. But the reward was always further down the road. He built their palace by day and returned each night to sleep next to the rats. Until one day, he looked at the palace, then down at his cracked and bleeding hands, and something in him cracked. Not his back, but his belief that he was meant for this. He stood up, set down the stone, and walked away, and no one stopped him, because the only power they had was his belief that he had none. And maybe now, as you hear these words, you're beginning to feel it. That this goes beyond the habit, beyond the screen, beyond the money. This is about who you believe yourself to be. Because over time, when we repeat something enough, it begins to shape our identity. And maybe gambling started as something external, a thrill, a curiosity, a way to escape. But eventually, it crept inward. It started to whisper that this is who you are. But that voice that says just one more isn't truly you. It's just a part, trying to meet a need in the only way it knows how. And maybe now you're ready to thank that part and let it go. Because you weren't born for this. You haven't lost yourself. You've only been buried underneath the chaos. And now the real you, that inner stillness, is emerging. There comes a moment in every story when the character realizes, this is not who I am anymore. And maybe that moment is happening now. You don't have to fight. You don't have to resist. You simply decide. And as you feel your breath deepen, you feel the old identity falling away like a mask that no longer fits. And ahead of you, there's space. Real space, calm, open, powerful. You are not someone who's trying to stop. You are someone who already has. There's a story about a man who wanted to escape his life. From the outside, he looks like he had it all together. But inside, his mind was always racing. Trapped in his head, his days blurred into nights. And no matter what he chased, money, success, achievements, something always felt hollow. So one day, without telling anyone, he packed a small bag and left. He walked for days through forest and fog, across rivers, over jagged rocks, into the cold silence of the mountains, because he had heard there was a wise man who lived there, a master who knew the secret of peace, the cure for suffering, the way out. And at last, exhausted and trembling, he found the old man seated by a fire. The traveler knelt before him and said, "I've come so far. I need to know, what's the secret to a good life? How do I escape this pain?" The master looked up at him after a long moment and finally said, "Live a life you don't need to escape from." At first, the man didn't understand. He'd expected a ritual, a mantra, a spell, but instead, he received a mirror. The master continued, "You've run so far, but peace was never behind you or ahead of you. It was always beneath you, in the life you were standing on but never present for." And something shifted. The man didn't speak, but in the silence, he understood. He hadn't needed to climb a mountain. He had needed to come back to himself. And maybe now, a part of you is remembering that peace doesn't live in a jackpot or in some perfect tomorrow. It lives in the quiet decision to stop running and start living. Because even as you let go of gambling, you still carry the needs it once tried to meet. And now your mind has the space to find new, healthier ways to meet those needs. Excitement can be felt again in movement, in challenge, in play. Relaxation can be found in self-care, in stillness, in nature. Connection can be found by being truly present with those who truly matter. You'll have the space to regain a sense of meaning and purpose as you build, create, contribute, because all those needs are valid. You're just done chasing the illusion that these needs will be met through gambling. And when the urge comes, you'll feel a pause, a breath, a moment of clarity, and you'll ask, what do I really want? And then the urge will eventually pass. You'll put your phone down, take a breath, go for a walk, text someone, choosing something real. And in that choice, you become stronger. Because the urges may still visit, but they will no longer control you. simply passing through like clouds in the sky. You'll notice them, accept their presence, and find ways to actually meet your needs. Because you are someone who values peace over pressure, truth over illusion, and real joy over temporary excitement, you are calm, clear, and whole. You are free. And as you return to your day in a moment, remember this feeling. Carry it with you. And come back to this video regularly to remind yourself of the illusion and to recenter yourself in who you really are. And if you're ready to go deeper and finally heal the part of you that's trying to cope through gambling, I invite you to work with me one-on-one. Together, we'll explore the roots of this pattern, not with judgment, but with curiosity, compassion, and clarity. Because you don't need to fight this alone, and you don't need to stay stuck in a story that no longer fits who you really are. So click the link below to take the next step, and let's begin the work of lasting change together.